Hi ladies, as promised, Fiona Robertson here on Women Winning with Weight, and I wanted to give you a lowdown today on the reasons why you gain and hold on to weight. It doesn't always seem that easy, and the first thing we normally go to is changing our food. We go onto a diet, but I wanted to sort of let you hear a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes, rather than just straight away going, oh my god, I need to starve myself, I can't eat this week, I'm going to stop eating food, and then you see a chocolate cake and you eat that instead. 99% of the reasons I've found that women are gaining weight is to do with stress, which I have talked about a lot already, but basically it is the stress that has the hormones running around the body, that has these chemicals being released in the body, and the fight and the flight mode, which brings all your liver is bringing all the glucose to the surface and to all the elements that it needs to sort of run and fight and have all that energy in that particular emergency that your body feels you're having. And I talk about in the program that I do, Peace with Food, how to gauge your stress and how to reduce your stress so that that doesn't happen quite so much anymore. The second reason that I talk about that the woman is actually not just gaining the weight, but why she's holding on to the weight. Now this comes from a completely different angle. This is a different perspective. And this is not because she's lazy, not because she can't stick to the diet, although there are issues there as to why she can't stick to a particular diet once she's chosen to do it. But often she's coming from an angle of scarcity. She's coming from an angle of lack. And I didn't realise that had such a big impact because I didn't realise what was going on for myself. But what happened to me, which made me very, very clear on the fact that scarcity and how your body mimics what you're thinking about and what's going on for you. Back in 2014 now, I got separated, but I was separated way before that anyway. But in France, feeling rather vulnerable, not able to do my business anymore, single-handedly left to run my business, that I couldn't really do because I was now a single mum looking after two young boys, and no financial support or any support from my ex at all. So my whole body just went into hold on to everything. My finances were dwindling, and I couldn't see how I could come out of this particular pit that I had sort of fallen into. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because it's so scary and it's so terrifying that you have these issues with money and the worry of lack and the worry of, you know, the dreams that you're having, like, oh my God, if this doesn't work, and the worst case scenario, and if this doesn't work, then my boys are going to have taken away from me, I won't be able to cope. Those kind of things have such an effect on your body that she holds on to everything. So as opposed with stress, when you're stressed, your body is protecting you, and all the sugar that's rushing around your body has to store it somewhere. It stores it on your belly. That's basically where the hormone cortisol stores things. And with scarcity, she kind of puts it on all over. And this is the way that the body is talking to you all the time and showing you what's going on, because basically every single thing that you're worried about, especially to do with finances or lack, it could also be sort of a lack of love or not feeling good enough, but a lot of the time it's to do with lack of finances. Now, finances are very linked to self-worth. And so is your weight. Your weight is also linked very, very strongly to your own self-worth. If you fall into this victim mentality, if you fall into this victim mode, there's a particular feeling in the body. And anybody who's done any of my Peace with Food and any of the meditations and things that I do and the teachings that I do, you'll be able to sort of understand how that feels in the body when you're in that victim mode. And you'll be able to sort of pick it up from other people as well. One thing that I found when I was falling into this particular victim mode, feeling sorry for myself and angry and blaming somebody else for not supporting me and all the rest of it, was that I felt it. I can feel it now. You feel it in the pit of your stomach. It's just between your solar plexus and your navel, and it just sits there and it just contracts, and it's like having a rock in your belly. Your breathing is also shortened. This is how your body's actually responding to you being in that fear mode, and the lack and the scarcity. I cannot state this strongly enough, how your body responds to your thoughts and your feelings. There's nothing as responsive than your body to your thoughts and your feelings. What I found that what had also happened for me in that particular time, and see whether this is happening for you, because I'm here to kind of show you what's happened for me so that you can help yourself through this as well, is that I surrounded myself who also had money issues, who also had scarcity issues, who were also single mums, who also had no support from their partners and things like that. And I was like, oh my God, I can't be listening to this conversation because it just keeps bringing it up in me. I need to change something here quite drastically. So I needed to start sort of like pruning those people out and lifting myself up. Now, there are certain things that I did that I teach now, how you can actually turn these things around. And I went inside, I meditated, I understood how I felt about things, I understood about, you know, how certain people felt or what situations felt like in my body. Do I want to feel that, yes or no? And even though it was my choice that I left my partner and I became a single mum, I knew in the back of my head, I knew I was going to make it. But I did go through this fascinating downward spiral of getting into victim and getting into lack and getting into scarcity, which had a radical effect on my energy levels and my body. Now, when I found what I needed to do to get out of that, it took persistence, and it took some effort, but it took consistency, and I needed to practice it and be persistent and be persistent and be persistent and keep on practicing. Even sometimes if I knew the skills, I knew what I should be doing, I was still falling and I didn't know what was going on. So one of the things that I did that actually got me out of this particular predicament, and what helped me sort of lighten up and get my body back in shape again, I changed my stories. I changed the stories that I was telling towards the people that I felt that should be treating me in a different way, that should be supporting me in a different way. So I rewrote my past. I rewrote what was going on with my ex and the story that we had together. I wrote about my future dreams. I wrote about, and I got into the feeling of what I wanted to feel like in the next phase of my life, who I wanted to be, how I wanted to live, how I was going to show up. Even, I call it that I ignited her, so that I even knew what she was going to wear, how she was going to walk, how she was going to talk, what kind of things she'd be doing, where she'd be going, who would she be with. I did that, and I call that my perfect day scenario. And that's something that I did persistently, kept adding to it and making it more exciting and more fascinating. I started to notice the things that I had that I could be grateful for. I was grateful for my house, I was grateful for my boys, I was grateful for my health, I was grateful for the food on the table. We never went without. We never went without food, we never went without clothes, we never went without heating, we never went without water, we never went without electricity. So I found that really interesting, that I was still in this scarcity mode. Hello, Veronica, thank you for joining. I found it very interesting that I was in this scarcity mode and how that affected me on a physical level. So it changed my stories, rewrote about my stories for the future, and ignited the woman that I wanted to be in the next phase of my life, saw what I was grateful for, and I started to teach that to my boys as well. As if they were in the back of the car and thinking, oh God, I want one of these, I want one of these toys, I want one of these, I don't have this, I don't have that. I was like, wow, drop and give me 5 gratitudes right now. And we still do this at the dinner table, like, tell me the 3 things that the best things in your day, your 3 favourite things of today. I always try and keep them on the positive, which is great for me because it keeps me on my positive as well. So these are the kind of things that I started bringing in, as well as pruning all the people in my life that were kind of naysayers and negative people. So I appreciated what I could when I could. So when I went walking, I became very aware of my senses. I became very aware of what I was hearing, what I was seeing, what I was smelling, feeling, like the rain on my face or the sunshine and those kind of things. And I became very much more sensual and very attuned to what my body felt. And I kept up the practice. And I tell you, it was a practice, it was a practice, it was a practice. I was diligent. I was also delusional. I had to be delusional to believe that I was already somewhere that I wasn't yet. I really had to keep that up non-stop. So this was sort of breaking out of my money beliefs, breaking out about the stories and the judgments I had on my body, and that I was already living that dream and what I would be doing if I was living that dream. This is me igniting myself, igniting the woman that I wanted to be so that I could change physically and I could change my finances. They are very, very strongly linked. That's why today I'm really wanting you to understand that the scarcity, being in victim mode or coming from lack, is going to have your body hoarding and storing and keeping hold of any fat and things that she's already got. You've also trained your body to do that because every single time you've gone on a diet, she's kind of gone, ooh, better hold on to everything because you're just going to go on a diet. You're going to starve me again. So it's a retraining, it's a reprogramming of the body. I could have given up 100 times, 100,000 times. I could have given up. And some days I did. I'm not going to tell you that I didn't. But my worst fears always drove me on. This stage is the toughest of them all. This is when anyone and everyone who ever decides to make a change in their life, to do with their finances, to do with themselves physically, or whether you're trying to change a relationship, they're all very linked. You really have to be, you feel like you've been pushing hard and lots of effort and you've got nothing to show for your effort and you just think, fuck, it's just pointless, I can't do this anymore. That's something called the transition stage. And during this stage, it just feels like you can't go on any longer. That's it. I'm giving up. But that's the funny thing. When you feel that, you have to know that you're so close. You are so close. And it only takes one moment or one person who can help change you and who can help support you through all these things, who can change your perception, your perspective, and who can help you reevaluate every single thing that you've been doing that's got you into the state that you're in now. That's the time to be tough, and that's the time to be really consistent and build up your resilience and build up the practice that you're actually doing. If you were to ask yourself the toughest question of all at that particular time, do you want to live this way? Do I want to live this way? Then one day I saw a change. I won a competition. I won 6 months free coaching with a bloody good coach. And she took me from a different point of view. And I went, I didn't earn that, but something's happening. I can see that there are things in my very, very close space. I'm just about to step over that. Then I started to see things in a completely different way. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to accept charity anymore. I'm not going to accept food favours anymore. I'm not going to accept this, this and this. I am going to bring myself up to my next level. And when I did that, from coming from scarcity to what I really wanted to have, that's when I started to see things change. Interestingly, it's not always that easy, and I did have very, very bad days. But when I looked at that from a different perspective, again, all about perspective, when I looked at that from the perspective of, it's okay, tomorrow's a different day, you're not going to stay here forever, and the reason you're feeling this is purely because all the negative energy is now coming out of your body, so you're feeling it again. It's a good thing that you feel so crappy. was like, oh, it was difficult sometimes to really bring that up and out and understand what was going on. But that's the trick. It's just keep on going and keep doing your practices. I know that I can manifest amazing things when I do my practices. And I know that, you know, your body reflects your thoughts and reflects your feelings. And that's everything that I'm about, is that your body's showing you what's going on the inside. So if you see somebody who's struggling with their body and you know that they're sad about their bodies, it's because something else is going on behind the scenes. And it could be an enormous amount of stress. It could be death of a parent. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. And if somebody's struggling with their weight, it's just because they just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I still have these issues and these struggles and this perception of my body, but we keep on going and we keep on making it more and more positive. I'm slimmer than I was yesterday. There's so many different ways that you can play this game. Worry looks like a wobble. Fear looks like fat. All these things have a very, very profound effect on your body. And that's basically what I'm here to tell you. So there is hope. It's not your fault. There is something going on behind the scenes that we can just kind of like pull out. And we can help you understand where your stress level is. Are you over here with your stress level, or are you way up there with your stress level? Where are you on your hungry level? What are you hungry for? All right, this is why I'm here. I hope this has been of help. And you've got to know that there's so much more going on in the background. And there's so much more to learn about yourself and your body, so that you're not lazy in your thoughts and you're not accepting just that because you want, it's a mediocre life and that's all I can have. Oh my God, no, you can have everything you've ever wanted, but you just need a little bit of support and some of the nips and ticks and tricks and all those kind of things just to get there. That's what we're all about, trying to become these women who are absolutely freaking amazing and wonderful and blowing ourselves out of all proportion, so that our soul can come out and we can find out who we are and what we're meant to be doing here. Look, do yourself a favour, come over to sort of Women Winning with Weight. I know you're here. I have other groups and things as well. I run my Peace with Food group, which teaches you the meditation that takes you into your body and out of your brain and helps you to let go of all that stress and understand what's going on. Just let go of all that stress and find peace with food, peace with your body, and discover your own self-worth. I'm going to love you and leave you. And if you've got any questions or any comments, if you're going to be watching this later, just come back to me and let me know what's going on, and let me tell you where you are, what you're up to, what your very, very, very next step would be. All right, love you and leave you. Bye-bye.